even though I didn't think any, beat sales would come from doing tutorial videos, I had a handful of artists find these videos and, hit me up for some beats or some custom production.
Let's be honest, you're not gonna find these videos anywhere else. Why? Because I make them. So it would really help me out if you subscribe. If you've already subscribed, what also really helps is if you like the video and leave a comment. It's hard in the era of clickbait videos on YouTube and negativity in the producer community, and I appreciate your support. Thank you so much.
I kind of took that as an opportunity and just, wanted to put out a bunch of content, and I figured, okay, when things get back to normal, a lot of people, will have kind of stayed connected with me over these times. And it surprisingly worked, and it really changed my mindset, and it made me realize how important, content is. The content game is really, really important. So that's something I think that, really helped me have a successful year in 2020.
When you say content, what were some examples of content, and was that content targeting producers or recording artists or both?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a good question. I know content is such a vague term, such a general term, but basically I realized, a few months before I started this kind of shift in what I was doing, I was just putting my beats online, and I wasn't really doing anything else. I wasn't posting I wasn't really posting a lot of videos on, YouTube or Instagram, or just places where people can kind of watch and enjoy. So it was kind of a mix of, stuff for, producers to watch me kind of making a beat in the studio, but it was also entertaining, for artists to kind of see the behind the scenes. So I just really tried to do a lot more of what I was doing and be seen by a lot more people.
Got it. And what did you find was the most engaging content?
Yeah, I kind of had two that worked. Instagram was really good, and my shift, from Instagram content, I used to be I would just post a picture of Drake or Future or someone and have the beat playing in the background, right? And instead I kind of wanted to change it up and do something a little bit more engaging. So I showed videos of me in the studio. I was, talking about how I made a specific beat, breaking it down step by step. So that's something that really helped. And a lot of artists actually really enjoyed that too, to kind of see everything that was going, into a beat. And also on YouTube, I started doing these tutorials and breakdown videos there. And even though I didn't think any, beat sales would come from doing tutorial videos, I had a handful of artists find these videos and, hit me up for some beats or some custom production. I might have mentioned that last time in the previous thing, but yeah, those two things, just kind of sharing, knowledge and educating people and sharing tips or, stuff that's more engaging than just listening to a beat. That's stuff that really worked well for me.
That's interesting. Yeah, I guess a lot of us don't think that kind of content leads to sales because we would imagine that it's producers that are consuming that content.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I've always been kind of confused at, because it's my audience, and I'm sure, you have a similar type of audience where it's half of the audience is producers, half of them are artists, right? And I know majority of the income comes from beat sales, for myself, especially, right? But it's how do I make content that appeals to both audiences? And it's kind of a tough question to figure out sometimes, but I just found that, doing more stuff, being myself, that's, it really helped.
So we had a question come in, and it's not a question I planned on asking. I'm glad someone asked. Have you jumped into the world of text marketing? I know that's a new integration within BeatStars, and I think they're ahead of their time integrating that option in for us producers. It's something that I know I need to work more on, and it's something that my partner at MAC Dame is running webinars on. So is that something you've tried?
I've done it. I've only experimented with it once, and it was maybe a year or two ago. I did a contest, and I basically like announced like the upcoming contest winner and the prizes through texting. I agree. I think BeatStars doing that is way ahead of their times, and it's something that not a lot of producers do, but it's totally in a huge opportunity. And even though I don't do text marketing per se, I do text a lot of my like customers kind of on a personal basis. Like I share my phone number with them. They can text me, they can call me. It's so useful to have a phone number to at least get in touch with people, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'm sure that's going to change a lot in the
Yeah.
near future. So let's get right into this whole topic of the business of beats. You recently had a conversation on Twitter about catalog size. And,
Yeah.
you said, and I'll just quote you, you said, having a huge catalog is key. I still get people buying beats I posted years ago. So you uploaded about 100 beats last year, thanks to the BeatStars 2020 impact. What feels like a good number for you with regards to catalog size?
I mean, it's probably, I think, like, are you talking just overall or over the course of 1 year?
No, just overall. I mean, if you're, because a lot of the people here have smaller catalogs, they're starting out.
Yeah. Definitely. Like, I don't know, like you got to have, it's so hard to put a number on it, but definitely something where they can have a variety of stuff to listen to, right? Like, I mean, if I went onto someone's website and they only had 5 songs, it's, you only get 5 chances to make one sale, right? For me, someone goes onto my website and they see 400 beats, odds are they're going to have at least one that they're going to enjoy. So it doesn't have to be, total 400, but I don't know. I mean, if you have like, I'm sure if you even had like, 30 to 40 beats online, you'd probably start to see some results. That doesn't necessarily mean that you need to, hold your stuff and don't post online until you make 40 beats. Like, I think, just put your stuff out there, and probably when you make like 30 or 40 beats, that's a ton of stuff to market, right? Like, you can market that in so many different ways. So, I mean, yeah, like 30, 40, just keep going at it. And if you're uploading like once or twice a week, over the course of a year, you'll just see that catalog build and build over time.
So if you were starting out and you just uploaded your 40th beat, what are some of the ways you would start marketing that catalog?
Yeah, so definitely like on YouTube, I would be sure to have all my beats on YouTube. I would make sure like they're all like, properly optimized, right, in YouTube, and it's easy for people to find and discover and listen to. And then in Instagram too, I would make sure like if you have 40 beats and you're making them like, twice a week, let's say, you can just screen record, your phone, your FL Studio screen. Like, it's a lot of stuff that you can do with that content, right? It's just a matter of posting it out there.
So you would encourage producers to use all of the different social media surfaces out there?
Yeah, 100%. Like, use, YouTube and Instagram have been big for me, like, ever since I've been on them. But dude, there's a lot of people who sell through Facebook and Twitter. And I think it's a thing where if you're just consistent with it, like over time, like any platform is probably going to work if you're consistent with it, right? And that's why if you stay consistent and you start to build a catalog, things will just grow and grow from there.
Do you have your eye on any emerging platforms that you think could in the future become platforms that producers should utilize to send traffic back to their BeatStars page?
I mean, I'm really liking the Reels feature on Instagram. I think it's a new feature that they have, and I see like it's kind of like TikTok in its early stages, right? So it's a good thing to kind of jump on and try and figure out before it's used by everyone, right? And I've had good success with Reels on Instagram, but I also think Spotify might be something like, Spotify kind of always interests me, right? Because I mean, there's lo-fi producers who upload their beats to Spotify and get into a couple playlists, and that's kind of like an additional stream of income, right? So It's not really like set up in a way right now for like producers to drive content back to their beat store yet. But I think if it did like get to that point, like somehow, like someone's gonna like figure it out and the market's gonna grow from there. But I don't know, Spotify is a really kind of interesting one that I think is kind of unclaimed at the moment.
So the last time we spoke, you revealed that in high school you were making around 30,000 a year selling beats online. Obviously, that's a crazy story. But what were you doing with $30,000 at that age?
Dude, honestly, nothing, man. And it kind of goes to my points I was talking earlier about, you know, how I've started to focus on content a lot more, because those 4 years of high school, that was a time where I was like focusing on, you know, replying to emails, connecting with artists, you know, putting my stuff on Instagram and YouTube. And I didn't even like notice like, you know, the numbers that I was like truly making, right? I mean, I made like I said, like 30 grand at the end of high school in a year. And I didn't even like notice. I was just so obsessed with like putting my beats online that I didn't really care about the numbers. And thinking back to that, that's something that I've really tried to get back into now. And especially last year was just like, you know, focusing on the content, focusing on the music. If you're doing that stuff consistently and putting out, you know, all this stuff and your heart's in it, like people are going to catch on, you know, they're going to realize your energy, and it's going to cycle back to you. And that's how, you know, it worked for me kind of since day one. And I'm still doing that to this day.
So you're saying you didn't spend that beat money from high school. You just kind of said,
no, I didn't. I didn't even like really notice. I mean, I remember I was, you know, chatting with a friend in high school, and I was just telling him about like the stuff I was doing. And I told him, I was like, yeah, you know, I made this much off beats. And he was like, that's like serious, man. And I was like, I guess so. You know what I mean? But for me, it was just like, I just wanted to share my music. I just wanted to share my beats and make more beats. And that was like at the time of me being in high school and not really needing to, you know, spend money on anything. Like it's not like I have, you know, many bills at the end of high school, right? So for me, it was just like, I just want to make music. So that's what I focused on for years.
Yeah, I have a similar story. I was making like $7.50 an hour in high school, so I was right there with you. So also in your video, Six Figures Selling Beats, you vaguely divulged your income, at least your income range, and you said you've been making six figures a year for a few years now, just as a producer. And we know you were a savant at a young age. So I imagine you're not at 8 because you're what, 24 now or 25?
24, yeah.
Okay, I imagine you're not just buying cars and $1,000 sandals. Are you reinvesting in your career? Do you have an investment strategy?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like have too much. I mean, I've you know, dabbled in the past with Instagram and YouTube ads just to kind of, you know, promote myself a little bit more. So I'm still doing that like to this day, like a couple, you know, YouTube ads or Instagram ads like here and there. But I don't know. I mean, I guess my biggest investment is I moved into a house just a couple of years ago. So I've moved into this place. I have this, you know, spare bedroom as my studio set up, and that's kind of my investment for the future, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I think Gucci belts is probably a little smarter than that. But so we have a comment in the chat. Wouldn't they tax though? So yeah, I mean, yeah, they tax.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm glad that this came up because this was another question that I wasn't going to ask, and now I'm going to. With regards to, and it was just actually tomorrow, at least in the United States, is the fourth quarter deadline for estimated taxes for the tax year of 2020. So I sent my estimated payment in yesterday because I wanted to be on time.
Yeah,
I'm scared of the IRS.
Dude, me too. I live in constant fear of them, man. I'm not IRS, but CRA up in Canada, man. It's always trying to make sure doing everything legit, right?
Okay, so what are some strategies that you use? Do you have an accountant? Do you keep a tax diary? What do you do? What are you writing off? That I know that's a loaded question and there's a lot to answer, but it's one of those things that a lot of us don't talk about and educate each other on in the producer community.
No, definitely. I think it's such a valid point because I mean, like me in the beginning, but like when I first started, when I made, 250 my first year, right? I still didn't really know what I was doing at that time. So for me, I mean, I took various courses in school and college about accounting. So I do know a fair bit of stuff about accounting and bookkeeping. So I do have an accountant though that, a couple times a year I run everything by them and get them to verify everything. But my strategy, I guess, is I have this huge like Google Sheets document where every time someone buys a beat, I write down, their customer information, and I write down, I guess, two things. I write down how much they spent and what the PayPal fees are taken out, because PayPal fees are something I expense because that's something that I have to pay to help continue my business running. And I hear, a lot of producers sometimes talk about like, how you should try and people say this, all the time when they're self-employed, but try and expense everything. So, when I mean expenses, that's like anything that helps you kind of contribute to running your business, right? So for me, it's, it's all the PayPal fees. It's all the stuff like Beatstars monthly fees. It's what else do I do? Like YouTube ads, Instagram ads, all these things that I'm spending and all the money that I'm making, I make sure that I have it like clearly organized in an Excel spreadsheet. Because when it's time for, taxes up in Canada here, it's, I think end of April is our deadline. But throughout the year, I am on top of everything. So I write everything down. And then basically at the end of the tax year in April for Canada, I basically, for the most part, I give my accountant kind of two main numbers. I'm like, here's the money I made. Here's the money I spent. Figure it out, right? And I pay him a couple $100 to do it once a year, and they file everything legit for me.
Yeah, I had to do the same, and I noticed that there was a lot I didn't know about. I mean, once things started getting crazy, where it's like everything's, like your home office, at least in the States, your home office is a partial write-off, internet service.
All that stuff. I do my cell phone too, my monthly cell phone bill. But I guess the best advice I have, like, it's good to do like some research on your own. Like there's a ton of YouTube stuff about that. But then like talking with, an accountant too. And I remember before I bought this, place I'm in now and moved in here, I told my accountant, I'm like, hey, I'm buying a house. What are stuff, that I can expense and lower the taxes that I'm paying, right? And then my accountant, he basically gave me a list of things I can do. And he's like, find the square footage of your home office. You can calculate this and this and this. Like, if you get in touch with an accountant and sit down with them or have a phone call with them, like, they definitely want to figure out ways to save you money. So, I guess just, seeking help from a professional is always good.
Okay, this is why I'm scared to even talk about this stuff, because it's not. I don't want to scare people with my lack of knowledge. I'm not an accountant.
Yeah, same here.
I want to stay in a safe. I think we're staying in a safe zone where we're only kind of talking about what we do. The U.S. tax deadline is not tomorrow. That's not what I said. I said the estimated tax deadline for quarter 4 of 2020 is tomorrow. So if you're not already paying quarterly taxes, then don't worry about it. I'm not going to say anything else about quarterly estimated taxes, but it is something that I would like to talk about with an actual accountant on this platform. And if any of you are concerned and you're in the United States, I don't know how it is in Canada.
I think it's similar, but of course it varies person to person, right? Like I know exactly what you mean with the quarterly deadlines, but I'm on a different schedule. My last thing was December, right? So, I mean, it varies from person to person too.
Yeah, so I'm not going to talk more about my understanding of quarterly taxes. Look, I pay my accountant to do this. He sends me the quarterly forms. I pay them on the dates that the U.S. Treasury and the IRS give me. So
yeah, that's the same too. I don't mess with it. My guy tells me what to do, and I do it, and it's no questions there, right?
Yeah. So if there's one takeaway from this, if you're confused, so are we. Talk to a professional, and please do not act on anything we're saying other than to talk to a professional and other than to understand that this is something that is important to you as a small business owner, because you being a producer and selling beats online automatically makes you a small business. Here comes Bufo to derail the conversation. I think it's an interesting question though. So he's asking about collabs. I don't know if you do collabs very often. I do all the time. And with the bulk deals, that can sometimes cause people to grit their teeth a little bit. What's been your experience with that?
Yeah, I don't have I have a couple of collabs. Like every month I'll do maybe a collab or two with an artist who, kind of pays for that service. And I think what was the question? It was about like the $0 sale notification.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with
Yeah,
that.
I haven't had a lot of situations like that recently. I know in the past I have, but I know it happens a lot of times, I guess, where producers do like you buy like one, get three free or something. Like when you're adding more beats for free, it kind of confuses things a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. I guess sorry, I'm just looking at the question right now, but I guess it really is a case by case basis. I think a while ago, I might have had one producer who was just confused by it. And, when I told them they selected that beat for free, like they kind of understood it a little bit more. What's because you said you do a lot of collabs, right? What's your opinion on that?
At one point, it was like a running competition between me, Dream Life, and Dylan Graham, where we were just kind of trying to see who would send the other the most zero sale notifications in a week. So yeah, I mean, it was. I'll say this: when I first started collaborating with producers who were outselling me and who offered bulk deals, every time I get a zero sales notification, it kind of hurt my soul a little bit. And then I started increasing my sales, and then I was sending them zero sales notifications. And at the end of the day, to me, it just evened out, because if these are people that I'm collaborating with all the time, it's just kind of a give and take. They're going to give me zero sale notifications some of the time, and they're going to give me, nice, $99 sales commissions. So for me, I'm looking more at the bigger picture, but I can understand how a collaborator could ask to opt out of those bulk deals, in which case, that's a conversation to have with them.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. I haven't really done enough experience with that, and I don't have a large number of bulk deals on my website at the moment as well. Like I just do a buy two, get one free. So, but yeah, no, I haven't. I guess you totally could ask to be opted out of the bulk deals type of situation, right?
So your buy two, get one free, is that just an ongoing deal? Do you ever adjust your deals or run holiday promotions, anything like that?
I used to like not run any deals at all, but especially like the past, I guess maybe the past year, I've switched to a buy two, get one free that I'm running consistently. And it's because I want people, I want to give people a reason to spend more, right? Like I don't want to, sound mean to anyone, but if you're doing like a buy one, get three, or buy one, get one free, if someone comes to your website and they want to, and they're going to buy something anyways, and all of a sudden they can figure out they get something free, it's like, okay, well, I was going to spend, $20 regardless of if I was getting one beat or 5 beats, right? But when people go on to my site or my BeatStars or whatever, and they see I have a buy two, get one free, I feel like, they think, okay, if I spend a little bit more, I'll get another one for free. So it's that incentive to spend a little bit more, right? So I used to not do it like really at all, but now I want to, give people that reason to spend more right away. And it's really been working like really, really well. And I think that's what contributed to, my increase of sales last year, was doing that sale consistently. Your other question was about kind of holiday or other type of sales. It is something that I do, and that's what like I use for my email marketing, is where I hit people up like Christmas or, end of year type of sales. And I'll usually do like a buy two, get two free. But any sale that I do, you have to at least buy two beats. Like, it's not just buying one. It's so you still have to spend more than you initially would to take advantage of that sale.
Got it. So how do you tend to announce these deals? Are you someone who's amassed a pretty big subscriber list with like a MailChimp or an Aweber? Do you use email marketing as a sales strategy?
Yeah, my email marketing is like primarily just anytime I do kind of a bigger sale type of thing. And my list is just legit like anyone who's bought a beat from me from the past couple of years, right? So it's kind of a good size list, and that's how I announce my sales. I do want to kind of use email marketing for other stuff, but at the moment I just, send out an email like, at the end of the year, I was, doing a sale on like a buy two, get three free for a couple days. So I send them that email, and then a couple days later, before the sale ends, I send them out a reminder. But I feel like there's definitely a lot more that I could do with email marketing. So it's something I kind of want to experiment a little bit more with.
So here's a question then, and it's a question that I need to ask myself also. Because even though the majority of my income in 2020 came from BeatStars sales, I wonder how these beat buyers ended up on my BeatStars page to begin with. So where would you say most of your Beat Store traffic came from in 2020?
Yeah, mine is, I guess, YouTube and Instagram. Like, those are the platforms that I'm most actively posting on. So I think that definitely contributed to it. Yeah, no, those have got to be like the biggest ones. BeatStars, like I still, get a good amount of sales from BeatStars Marketplace too, which is legit just, people looking up certain types of beats, and then they come across my stuff, and otherwise like they never would have heard about me. And that kind of ties in with the stuff we were talking earlier about the like having a big catalog, right? Like, I have a huge catalog on BeatStars, like a couple hundred beats. So I have more chances of people when they go on BeatStars and, go through the marketplace. It's more likely that they'll find my beats just on the amount of beats I have on there, right?
Do you make playlists or albums on BeatStars?
I don't know. There's a whole lot of stuff that I should really, sit down and kind of explore what else they have to offer. I've really just kind of used it as a tool to upload my beats, kind of track my sales, sometimes message people too. I like chatting with people on the platform.
Got it. This was a question to kind of follow up the email marketing conversation. Do you set up an automation for new customers? Because it sounds like you're using the BeatStars integration, so all of your customers are added to your email list automatically.
It's this automation thing is on my to-do list. It's something that I haven't done yet, but I definitely see the value of it, and it's just something I got to sit down for a day and set up, because I know it can be totally valuable. Especially through BeatStars, like if someone downloads a beat for free and adds them to a list, and then sends them a different offer. But yeah, I haven't done it yet. I know producers who have had success with it, and it's something that's literally on my to-do list.
Okay, everybody in the chat, stop overwhelming Omito Beats. He has a long to-do list. So, someone's going to ask another question. Hey, have you started posting on your community tab on YouTube? Anyway, here's a good question that doesn't add to your list, I don't think. What's the best way to get people to your YouTube channel or Instagram page?
For sure. I think a good one is definitely sharing something that is kind of unique, something that people they can't really find elsewhere. And I think something that I do is, kind of unique, is showing myself in some of my YouTube videos or my Instagram videos, because, for YouTube example, I have a couple tutorials or videos of me breaking down a beat. Like, yeah, there's hundreds of YouTube tutorials out there that talk about the same things I am, but the difference is that it's me, right? There's only one person using me as FL Studio tutorials. So finding something, unique is definitely an advantage right there. And if, I encourage like everyone, like all the producers, to get comfortable kind of in front of a camera, because I think it's really the biggest thing that can set you apart from anyone, because as cheesy as it sounds, like there's only one of yourself, right? And so now it's like anytime someone sees me, they know it's, Omito Beats. They kind of are familiar with me.
For the longest time, I thought there were several Cash Money APs. And I'm still not convinced that he doesn't have at least one clone, but
it's because he works. That guy just works crazy, man. I wondered that a few times too. It's just, I don't know. And then producers like that just inspire me so much, man. It's like, man, their work ethic is just absolutely crazy, right? And it's inspiring. It's motivational to me.
Yeah, I definitely took a page out of his book and decided that the route I was gonna embark on was, just the content game with regards to beats and just releasing, and building up the catalog. So I guess I'm taking a page out of your book as well.
Yeah, I noticed the same thing too, right? And I hear, success from other producers, who have just gone on YouTube and they've uploaded like, a beat every day for a year. And after a year, like you have like, 365 beats, like you have good chances of someone finding your stuff, becoming a fan, becoming a loyal customer. And that's something that, like the past year, I talked a lot about, me doing content comes from guys like that, right? Who have just grinded, and that's stuff I used to do in the beginning. And I kind of dipped off from that a bit. And now I'm trying to get back into it, just, posting as many good beats as I can. Of course, they have to be all good quality too. It's not always just a quantity thing, but it's just that work ethic and that grinding is so inspiring to me.
So this question's already been answered. Looking behiin you, I was going to ask, did you end up getting your YouTube plaque? Because last time
I finally got it. Yeah. It was funny. Yeah, because I guess if anyone's just kind of tuning in there, the last time we talked, I know I hit 100K. I think you were close, or you just hit 100K, right? And we were talking because I hit 100K subscribers probably a year before I actually got that plaque. And it was funny because we talked in our conversation about how I hit 100K and I just never got any notification. Like I never got in touch with YouTube about the award. And then shortly after our conversation, I actually got things sorted out, and I got the plaque, and a few weeks later it came in the mail. So I was successful with it. I did have to message YouTube though, like their support staff, and basically ask them, what was going on. Because I guess the way it's supposed to happen is you're supposed to, once you hit 100K subscribers, you're supposed to log onto your channel and see like, oh, congrats, you're eligible for this award. Click here to get it, type of thing. And I never got it. And when I hit 100K a year or two ago, like a year before I even got that, I would message YouTube and I'd be like, hey, what's the big deal? Like I hit, the number and I don't have my award. And I either wouldn't get any response, or sometimes I got a response that was like, oh, your channel isn't eligible for this, right? And it was kind of weird, but basically through the course of 2020, by uploading more content, I know it's a hot keyword of this podcast, but by uploading more content, I was kind of able to revive my YouTube channel a little bit, because it was kind of on the decline. The views and the engagement weren't what they were years ago. But throughout the course of the year, I've kind of doubled my my monthly views, subscribers, my revenue. I've really been kind of building up my channel. So, after I guess a year of actually being committed to the platform, I emailed YouTube and I got someone who, I guess reviewed my channel and approved it, and I finally got the plaque. It was a kind of a task to get it, but yeah, I finally got it.
I thought my situation was an ordeal. Dang.
Man, it was
Yeah,
like I got it, and I guess for me it was like it was such a slow grind to 100K.
yeah.
Like it seemed to take just like forever, right? And
Right.
it was kind of like I grew my channel really big in the early stages of my career, and then the past couple years it's been just really slow. So I guess I kind of had to build it up a little bit, build that engagement up to prove to them I'm worthy of the award.
Yeah, I think once I hit like the 90,000 mark, it felt like things got easier just because I felt like the energy was there where everyone just wanted to see me hit that. Maybe it's just like a collective ADD where everyone just wants it to hit that even number. But yeah, then it happened, and I expected someone to show up at my doorstep with balloons and stuff, and that never happened.
Did you get it yet? Have you
Yeah, it's
finally got it?
it's there.
Oh, okay. I see the silver thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I was ready to just go on eBay and buy a bootleg one, but yeah, the because they sell them for like $40. But what happened was finally I'm reading all the advice on help on their forums and stuff, and there are all these people saying, "What do I do? My channel hit 100,000." People are like, "Some channels just aren't eligible. YouTube just uses their own discretion," and I'm like, oh, well, I'm screwed because I think YouTube hates me. So I waited a few weeks, and it said if you don't hear anything in a couple weeks, that means your channel's not eligible. I'm like,
I guess that's what happened to me too.
Yeah, well, but then at like 2 a.m, nothing good happens at 2 a.m. At 2 a.m, I'm about to go to sleep. I'm like, nah, damn it, I'm logging into my damn panel, and there's like a creator support thing.
Yeah,
and it's not regular.
Yeah.
It must have been because I don't think YouTube actually offers any kind of live support to just.
No,
just
it's so tough. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, creative support, really? So I can chat with a real person? No way. So I clicked on it, and within 3 minutes, there's what I think is a real person talking to me. I'm like, oh, hey, can I get my plaque now? And oh, let me check. Hold on, give me 5 more minutes. I'm just checking, and I'm like, this is going to be all bad. They're going to say, man, you upload too many type beats and just whatever. And yeah, then they said, hey, congratulations. So within
that's
10
the same
minutes,
thing with mine too. The live chat.
yeah, it's so weird. But I guess at this point, everyone's getting 100,000 subscribers. So it's I don't know.
It's cool. I mean, I wish I got mine when I actually hit 100K subscribers instead of having to wait like a year and a half to finally get it. But I don't know. It is what it is. It looks cool on the wall right now. So
yeah. Okay. So let's talk more about YouTube then. You make a wide variety of beats, and it's actually crazy. It's crazy how versatile your channel is. That's probably a blessing and a curse in terms of YouTube's algorithm.
Yeah, it totally is. And I don't know, like there's definitely pros and cons to being, so versatile. And if anyone's, not really familiar, I'd honestly like produce like every type of beat, like hip hop, trap, pop, doing a lot of like indie rock type stuff now. But I mean, yeah, it's totally a blessing and a curse. But for me, it's just like I'm so like I just love so many different genres. And even when I started to produce, I took inspiration from so many different artists and so many different genres. So I'm just like totally all over the map. But that's just like it's 100% me. It's 100% authentic, right? I mean, yeah, it kind of hurts the algorithm a little bit, but at the same time, it gives me an opportunity to capture different audiences, right? Like I can rank really high in an indie rock category and an R&B category. So all of a sudden now I'm targeting 2 different people, like 2 different kind of audiences. But I don't know. It's just, like I said, it's 100% me, every beat I make, regardless of the genre.
What would you say in terms of your genres? Which beats tend to sell the best, and which beats would you say people associate with your brand?
It's that's a tough one because it really is kind of it is definitely a mix of like a lot of stuff, but I guess the like Omito brand is kind of like it's an upbeat, it's chill, but it's positive, right? It has good energy with it, and I mean, I don't know. I mean, even though I produce like every genre like known to mankind, there's always kind of little things I do with every single beat. That's just kind of my signature style. Like for me, I like totally just like abuse vocal chops and I just put them on every single beat, right? I mean, it's like, hooked by Arcade, like in that output plugin. That's something that's I have like used that so like extensively. And I mean, there's definitely like my own style, but I just try and spread good energy regardless of the genre. It's really being, 100% authentic. And I listen to so many genres of music, so I make so many genres.
And then you created a second YouTube channel for producer content, not beats.
Yeah.
And it looks like you surpassed the 70,000 view mark on that channel. So what are some plans you have for that channel moving through 2021?
Yeah, so it's funny because I've had an idea like for a long time to, get behind the camera, kind of show my daily life, show tutorials. I mean, even back in high school, people are, telling me to make tutorials, and I just I pushed it aside and I wasn't doing it for the longest time. And, better late than never, right? But my plans with that channel are, I don't know, I've had a lot of success recently with doing tutorials about like indie rock style beats. I posted one and it kind of took off. It got a lot of views, a lot of subscribers. So now it's like people are expecting me to make more of these videos. And that's something I've been kind of paying attention to as well recently. It's like if something is working really well, I've been trying to really pay attention to it recently and try and figure out why it's working really well, and then trying and duplicating it and, have that success happen again. So, I posted one video on that channel. It was one of the first ones I posted. It was making an indie rock style beat in FL Studio, and it had a lot of success. So I've kind of been posting more, and I think the channel it's kind of getting to a point where it's about, making indie rock beats and a little bit about me talking about beat sales too. But I don't know, it was just something that I posted, and a lot of people enjoyed it, so I'm just trying to kind of continue to do that as long as I can.
So with regards to selling beats, how much does musicality and quality matter, and what was your experience like with evaluating and criticizing the quality of your own beats?
Yeah, I mean, the quality is definitely important, right? Because you can have like, I want to say like kind of quality and content goes hand in hand, right? Like I don't want to, sound bad, but there's a lot of people who sell a lot of beats that I don't think are, as musical as some other beats, right? But the fact that they're, grinding harder, getting their beats, in front of more people, they're seen by more people, they have chances of selling those beats, right? So, I mean, you can have like the best beats ever, like the best beats, known to mankind, the sickest melodies ever. But if they're sitting on, your hard drive and they're not getting heard by people, then they're just sitting there collecting dust, right? So it's kind of, I want to say it's about a balance, right? Of, you have to develop a musical style. For me, I've really recently been trying to find something that's unique and a signature sound, because that'll keep people coming back to me and getting it in front of the right people.
So I have a question for me. The answer is it hurts a lot. All right. So I don't want to get into, my own pain. This is all about Omito's pain.
It's a tough one though. I'll just kind of quickly mention something about having how is not having two channels. Yeah, I mean, it's because you post beats and other types of content, right? And that's something, like, I don't know if there's a right answer, man. It's like I've like for years before like I started actually making the second channel for my tutorials, like I've debated and experimenting with posting it on one platform versus two. I don't know if there's a real right answer. It's such a tough question.
Yeah, I don't know. I got to figure it out though. So it's a new year. The online beat leasing market has evolved a lot, and we used to sell beats on platforms that weren't designed for producers. Today we have BeatStars, but the way that we market our beats has evolved too. So what do you think the future of beat marketing holds in terms of new platforms, new strategies, new techniques, and new ways to reach out to potential customers?
For sure. Yeah. I think definitely like, personal branding is a lot, right? Because as the beat industry grows and grows and grows, there's obviously a lot of competition, right? Like, I can go look up a free type beat on YouTube, a free Drake type beat, and I can probably find like hundreds of free Drake type beats that I could use if I was an artist. If you're a producer, we got to kind of figure about, okay, well, how do we make ourselves unique, right? How do we keep people coming back to me? How do I keep my customers coming back to me? So I want to make a unique sound that people can only find with me. I want my content to be, it's unique, and it shows myself and it shows my personality. Because like I was mentioning before, it's like if you put your personality in it, that's something that always is going to set you apart. And then just continuing to provide the best service that you can. I've worked with some artists before who have said that they wanted to buy a couple of beats from producers, but they reached out, they emailed them, they never heard anything back from them or something, and then they reach out through me, and I'm texting them late at night, right? And it's so the business aspect of it is definitely important. And I'd say with the increasing competition and the industry growing, you just need to figure out a way to be better than the competition, right?
I feel like that's the biggest secret. And, I try to reach out to other producers, collaborators even, and they don't get back to me. I'm like, okay, I need to send you money. So it is strange, or I'll email other producers and their inboxes will be full. And
yeah,
it's such a simple, but somehow it's the most difficult hurdle, I think, for the producer community to climb. But
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know why, but if it's setting us apart, then I'm cool with it.
I think so. And I used to be like that too, man. Like I was kind of, I think a lot of times it's people who just get into this game, wanting to make beats, upload it, and do that, right? They don't expect to all of a sudden have to learn, YouTube algorithms and Photoshop and, proper communications, right? It's all this stuff that technically we didn't sign up for when we first, downloaded FL Studio or GarageBand or whatever we're using. It's definitely something that, for me, it took a little bit of time, and I got better at it the more I spoke with, the people who wanted to use my beats. Like if I would have phone calls with artists who used my beats before just to chat or whatever, it's like, the more like you work at it, I know like a lot of producers, like they struggle with it, and I've been there, so I totally understand it. But if you really, get on that proper business aspect of it, that's something that can totally like set you up for success.
Here's a question. So what were some mistakes that you've made throughout your journey?
Yeah, I guess the biggest mistake I've made has been times where I haven't been active. I haven't been consistent. I've spoken before about my YouTube channel, how it grew really fast in the early stages. Like after a couple of years, I grew my channel from 0 to like 30,000 or 40,000 subscribers. And then I kind of went with me not really paying attention to the numbers and not caring about the numbers, but I had times where I wasn't uploading consistently to YouTube. I was starting out uploading all the time, like a couple times a week, always having scheduled uploads for when I wasn't on my computer, like just totally consistent with it. And those times where I kind of fell off and I wasn't consistent on any type of platform, that definitely has hurt me. And I even see it in small increments now, like even, when I upload a couple times in a week on YouTube, and then maybe I don't upload for a week or two, it kind of hurts. So I mean, like the consistency is so important. I would say that's the biggest thing. Not being consistent. That's the biggest thing that's hurt my career ever since I started.
So there's a lot of talk about this in the chat, and I don't remember if we had this conversation. Do you ever use targeted ads to advertise your beats and beat services? And if so, which platforms have worked for you?
Yeah, so I've done both Instagram and YouTube, or those are the ones that I primarily use. I've experimented with, all the other ads. I've done Reddit ads, I've done Facebook ads, I've done Twitter ads before, but YouTube and Instagram seem to be the most successful one to me. I do target them, but for me, it's kind of a broad kind of target. It's, people who like rap music, people who like pop music. I know you can get like super, super targeted with it, but for me, it's kind of like, one of those things too, where I know that there's a lot of potential in it, but I don't know. It's not something that I totally love to do, to sit in front of an AdWords screen forever and target people. So I would rather just do kind of a basic targeting, run it for a couple days, and it'll have some success, obviously, right? But I know you can get super, super detailed if you wanted to spend the time, but I just kind of do something basic and just kind of have it running consistently just to kind of speed things up, get in front of people, right? It's kind of an easy thing to do.
And then I guess here's a follow-up question. Do you go the discovery route ad on YouTube versus in-video ads?
So I think what this is talking about, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think you're referring to either like having your ad at the top of a page or like the 5-second skip ads. I used to do always the discovery ones. I think that's what it's called. If this is wrong, I'm going to look like an idiot here, but I used to always do the ones where people would, find me in the search thing. But more recently, I've been doing the in-video ads where you have to sit through 5 or 10 or 15 seconds. And I've been doing that, and it's been helping with my watch time a lot on YouTube, which has helped my videos rank more. I've been doing it on my second YouTube channel, which is helping me, push the watch time hours so I can monetize that channel shortly. So I would definitely go the in-stream videos, if that's what you're talking about.
And then one more question about YouTube. In the early days of your channel, was that all organic growth?
Yeah, all organic. I didn't use ads probably till like maybe 5 or 6 years in. I mean, for me, I didn't even I started in 9th grade, right? So, I mean, I had no concept of ads back then. So for me in the beginning, it really was just, organic growth, just posting consistently. I think if I was starting now, though, I would get a jump start on ads because it definitely can speed up the process. It can get you seen by a lot of people quicker. And if you're, posting consistently, you have, dope beats, it's easy to find you and contact you and buy your beats. If you combine that consistency and that content with ads, like you can speed up things a lot quicker than it took me.
All right. How do people follow you? How do people stay up to date? What are your various YouTube channels, especially since we have a lot of producers in here? How do they find that second YouTube channel with the beat tutorials? And
yeah, I'll plug that one the hardest. That's Omito Beats 2. It's the second one. If you search up Omito Beats 2, hit that subscribe button. Watch a few videos. I'm trying to get my watch hours up to monetize it so I can post more videos there. And then Instagram is at Omito Beats. That's the platform I'm definitely most active on. I always replying to messages, posting stuff, but those are the big ones.
Last minute question. Do you offer beat collabs?
Yeah, I do. And if you hit me up on Instagram, which is, again, at Omito Beats, hit me up and I'll give you the information all about that stuff.